Welcome back. We are coming live to you. Well, I guess not live. We're coming to you from Chelsea, London, having a cuppa right now with my dear friend Sophie, and we are talking about the dates.
July 16th through the 22nd.
We have such a mind block on this. I don't know why.
Yeah.
We really struggle with the dates, remembering them. Although we can remember all the astrology and all the numerology, but the dates. So here we go. For this week, we have quite a big week in numerology, I'm not going to lie. And I think this really coincides with the astro. Yeah, I didn't even tell you this.
I know.
We're actually going into a week 11.
Oh, wow. Okay, that makes sense.
You seem really excited. Okay, so we're going into a week 11, and as we know, 11 also adds up to 2. So there's going to be this 11 influence, but also an influence of the energy of the 2 as well. And 11, for those of you who don't know, is a master number, and it's actually known as the psychic. It's the most intuitive number that exists. It's all about cosmic downloads, like deep intuitive insights, having a lot of like aha moments coming to you, right? It's like, think of an intense spiritual awakening. That's kind of what the 11 brings, right? And whenever you're in the energy of an 11, there's always an opportunity for you to have that breakthrough in regards to your intuition. Like if you've been feeling kind of confused about something, or which direction to take, the 11 usually provides some sort of guidance via your intuition, right? It's not going to be one of those things that comes from outside of you. It's going to be something that comes from within, some sort of like, again, like download, aha moment, some like gut instinct. That's always how it shows up. And you know, the 11 is really, really magnetic. And you actually might be feeling kind of like you're magnetizing things to you, or you're pushing things away, energetically speaking, not even consciously. It's kind of like a push-pull energy where things might feel like they're going in different directions, and you're trying to figure out like, which way am I going? Am I going to go this way? Am I going to go that way? And it feels like you're pulling in all these opportunities and experiences, but at the same time pushing away ones that may not make sense or may make sense. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a very push-pull here, there, what's going on. And I think, you know, if you're feeling confused about a path to take in life, which the 11 can definitely represent a sort of like crossroads moment, try and get in touch with like, how do you actually feel, and how something makes you feel, and also like, what are your priorities at this time? Like, for example, Sophie's going to Italy. So if your priority right now is fun, perfect. Your next step is Italy, right? My priority right now is work. So I've said no to the Italian vacation, and I am in London for the foreseeable future. So another thing to know about 11 is that it adds up to 2. So there's going to be a big element of the 2 energy this week. And 2 is all about partnership, right? So 1 is the self, it's me, and 2 is the energy of we. So 2 is really about connection. It's about partnership. It's about empathy and cooperation and diplomacy, and really finding balance within your partnerships and your collaborations. And when I say partnerships, that could mean anything. That could mean business partnerships, that could mean friendships, that could mean romantic partnerships. I definitely believe that in this sort of energy, there will be some shifts in relationships.
Yeah.
And again, that just kind of tends to happen in a 2. If any of y'all follow your monthly or yearly personal year cycles, if you don't, you definitely need to. And I'll link to my free masterclass on how to do that in this video. But you'll notice that it's always like a time where there are big shifts within your relationships. So I kind of see this week playing out in sort of this kind of like crossroads moment with that 11 energy. You kind of getting those, you know, intuitive downloads and insights, and that kind of dictates how you're finding balance within your partnerships and how you're going to move forward in your partnerships. And, you know, I think something to note in the 2 energy is that empathy and compassion are really the emotions that you need to bring forward, right? If you're kind of stuck in an emotion, try and take a step back and ask yourself, like, how can I be more compassionate, not just to the other person who is your mirror, but also compassionate to yourself, right? Because it starts with yourself. If you judge others really harshly, it's probably because you judge yourself really harshly. So again, bringing more of that heart-centered energy into all relationships, all relational dynamics will really help you make the most of the energy this week.
Yeah. Wow. I feel like that resonates so much with what we're going through. Like the 11-2 for me is always like prepare for spiritual breakthroughs in your partnerships, in relation. And it's always like the people around you in your relationships are really bringing those breakthroughs and like, almost like prompting and instigating them. And for me personally, like I'm really feeling that energy. I mean, you know. So very, very aligned with what that energy feels like. So with the astrology, this is really interesting because we have the biggest astrological thing going on for this week is on January 17th. Wow, July 17th. My God.
January?
I know. Sorry, July 17th.
It's been a long day,
July
y'all.
17th.
Let me tell you, the past 24 hours have been too much.
That 11-2 is really coming in strong.
We're getting cozy. We got a new moon in Cancer.
Yeah.
We're getting cozy this week.
That's right.
New moon in Cancer, July 17th, not January.
I know.
Now let's talk about Cancer. We got a Cancer right here delivering this information to you, July 4th, baby.
So, new moon in Cancer, and specifically, I want to note the lunar mansion. So, for those of you guys that don't know, in Vedic astrology, which is the astrology I practice, you have different lunar constellations that are associated with each sign. And so, it's a more specified detail and flavoring of what the themes of the moons are really about. So, this one's all about, it's in Cancer Purnavasa, which is Purnavasu, which is all about really renewing and restarting. Like literally, it's restarting new adventures, a new journey, relationships. So
new beginnings.
New beginnings, exactly. Yeah. And new moons, anyways, are all about new beginnings. But this one, Purnavasu, actually translates to return of the light. So it's not new light, it's return of the light. So it's actually all about like this renewal kind of energy, which is very much new moon themed anyways. And then Cancer in general is all about nurture and like, you know, really diving into healing any kind of mothering wounds or childhood wounds, things like that. And like it's a renewal of energy that comes from that space. And so it's interesting because when you think about it from the 11-2, I wonder how for those of you guys, myself included, you included, how thinking about some of maybe where our wounding comes from is coming back, where we have to circle back to really engage in these breakthroughs, right? So I actually think coupled with the numerology, some of the renewed energy will come from a place of really having to reevaluate some of the like childhood triggers that we've had, because it's Cancer, and so it's mom home related, it's like childhood, and then it's return of the light, and obviously we were all once children, and so it's a matter of also tapping into some of that childlike light that we all have. And that's kind of actually like the biggest theme of what I see for this new moon in Cancer. And it's also interesting because it's in a wide square, and I say wide because it's not on the exact degree. Wide means that like the degree of the angle or aspect being created is like a bit further out, but it's in a wide square, which is squares are challenges, growth, challenging growth, tension, to the karmic nodes. So it's in an open square to Rahu Ketu.
Which is also the North Node, South Node, and Western for those of you who follow Western.
And that essentially is cueing us to really think about the destined pathway we're on. So you're traveling down a pathway, and it's really prompting energy to really think about, okay, there are destined events that really might take place this week, right? Because of this wide square. So this new moon in general is something very, very, I know it's like, oh, every month we have a new moon, what's so special? But this one actually has a karmic flavoring to it.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily about beginning new things just right off the gate. It's actually about renewal of things that maybe, it's a new kind of relationship you're moving forward with someone where you really have had to close the chapter and door on something.
But now you're opening that chapter
exactly.
again. Yeah. And also South Node is, our past, our karma, and North Node is our destiny. So that kind of wide square is also kind of goes back to that, what I was saying with the 11 of that kind of crossroads moment that might be coming, that push-pull energy. And I also want to say Cancer is one of the most intuitive signs.
Yeah.
It's a psychic sign because it's a water sign, so that also is very much in alignment with having this heavy psychic energy around this week. And also I think that might show up in other ways, like you might be sleeping more, you might be more tired or exhausted, having crazier dreams, again with all this kind of psychic energy swirling around this week.
Yeah. I mean, and I would also say that, like, the relationships that are kind of you're being confronted with, or relations, whatever it comes up for you, have a tinge of karmic stuff attached to it. So whatever main relationships you might be dealing with, renewal of these, whether it's a relationship to work or a relationship to a person or a project, there's a tinge of karmic relation. Karmic as in there is some kind of destined sequence and alchemizing here that has taken place previously, and in order to move forward and really break through, have that breakthrough, because that's what squares are too. Wide squares in general are also breakthrough types of energy. And so just pay attention to, like, what's coming up for you, because it is meant to be a renewal of light. And so we are meant to restart and, like, renew this pathway forward this week. And I do think that, not gonna lie, the open square, as much as it gives to us, it is a bit of a challenging energy. And so I definitely can speak personally to feeling already those challenges. And so it's just a matter of letting your emotions settle before actually jumping to making a decision, right? Because Cancer is also notoriously very emotional, very moody. I can say so myself because I'm a Cancer in Western. And so I always say, like, pause and really think about, let the emotions settle before you really start making decisions. But the breakthroughs definitely will be coming this week.
Yeah. Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Sophie and I have been in huge transition periods lately, so I'm like, oh, what is this week going to bring? Please, God, go easy. I'm tired.
I know. And, I'm sure our listeners also feel the same way.
We're all tired.
We're all here
tired
with
of
you,
adulting.
experiencing the universe as you guys are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good. This week's going to be spicy, and I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
See y'all next week.